Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990, and yes, of course, we are celebrating today. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I'm assuming that it's not on our list. National Social Engineering Day. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Fresh Breath Day. Okay, so that one there. It is what it is. You can't. Where are you going to go? Everyone wants to have fresh breath. So here's the issue there, and I can speak about that one because having on this weight loss journey, one of the things that tends to happen, I don't know if it happens to you, let me know in the comments, but you get bad breath when you're losing weight. Those of you that are real thin, you don't understand that. But us fat people, when you're losing weight, it manifests, I guess, in bad breath. It tells me I have to drink more water. If I start seeing people covering their nose, and I brush my teeth 4 times a day, so it's not like it's a hygiene issue. It's just, I guess, as they say, it is what it is. And I know I had that on my board here somewhere, but it's lost. So we'll have to figure that out. So what else is going on? Oh, wait a second. It's National Root Beer Float Day. Now, I'm going to throw this out there because the root beer float probably is not going to be on my diet. And yes, if you want to follow the journey, rsrlinks.com/shot, rsrlinks.com/shot. So the National Root Beer Float Day is probably not on my diet. So if I was going to have a root beer float, I'd probably go with not your father's root beer or not my father's root beer. I'm not sure which way it is. I never even remember. But take that not my father's root beer or not your father's root beer and add a little bit of vanilla ice cream. So that's kind of the way we roll. So, that would be my idea of going there. Let's see what the markets are doing today. We've got the where the heck did they moved my market update on the dashboard. It's funny. I go into the same program every single day, multiple times a day. And for some reason, my dashboard's always moving around on me. So let's take a look. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now up 156 points. S&P 500 is up 56. NASDAQ, whoa, up 212 points. Wow, looking at that one. Oil's down 27 cents a barrel. We always like seeing oil moving down on the day. That's always a good one to be able to watch the oil going down. Gotta love that one. So what does all this mean? 10-year treasury is up 2 basis points. We got a bond auction coming up later in the day, 10 o'clock our time. We've got the 10-year treasury note auction. So we'll watch that for you. We've got the mortgage-backed securities doing nothing. Not a whole lot of excitement right there. But hey, you know something? Sometimes in the middle of summer, peace and quiet is nice and good. So we're just watching all of these different numbers. We're watching, and we'll talk about this more in the Mortgage Minute, but we've got some Fed members now saying, you know something? It's time to start lowering rates. Does that surprise you?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
If you're a listener or regular on Ron Siegel Radio, you know that we've been saying this for a long time, that the Fed's going to be late again. And no, I don't care what Trump has to say. You know, that's just his opinion. But what we look at is we look at the data. What is the data telling us? And if you follow some of the paid subscriptions that we have, and no, you don't need to pay for them. We do. But one of the great ones that I really enjoy each morning, Danielle DiMartino Booth, we listen and read her commentary. We read Les Parker's commentary. These are all economists that are out there talking about what's going on in the market. They have, they just tell the story. What they do, what the news used to do. Now, you listen to Ron Siegel Radio. We tell you what we believe all the time as accurate. We get you the best data that we can find. But the fact of the matter is, in a lot of different areas, it's kind of hard to tell. You go to the news, you can't go to any of the mainstream media because all of them, doesn't matter whether it's Fox, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, all of them, they're telling you what you want to hear. So if you're going to CNN, it's because you've got a bias toward their commentary. If you're going to Fox, you've got a bias toward their commentary. It is what it is. So where do you go to find out what's really happening, cutting out all the fluff? Well, you have to pay for subscriptions, or you come here to Ron Siegel Radio. You go to any of our socials. I tell them to you multiple times a day. Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook. You can go to Ron Siegel 1, the numeral 1 on YouTube. We've got my personal page. We've got LinkedIn. It's Ron Siegel on LinkedIn. Twitch, I think it's Twitch, Josh, on Ron Siegel. If you're on Instagram, we're there as well. All of these different sources we give you, or you can go direct to the source. Go to rsrlinks.com/HBOD. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. We have our own community now. So you can go right there, and I think we get the radio shows put on there. We put our commentary put on there as far as the mortgage world. I think each day I try to get a commentary sent over to Josh so we can post that every morning as early as I get it done. Sometimes I don't get it done as early as I'd like to, but go to rsrlinks.com/HBOD, and you can see our newest commentary right there. We're putting it up there. It's basically assimilating the data we get from all kinds of sources, most of them in order to get just data without the commentary. Got to pay for it. It used to be nice. You can go to the news and you can see what is happening in the world, but it's all skewed. What's their bias? What do they want to do? What are they trying to promote? And that's what you get to see. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, a second home might be the missing piece in your retirement plan for more reasons than you might be thinking. Why 13% of Americans are about to get their paychecks stolen. How I saved a client $134,000 with one phone call, and you can too. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's...
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. Every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to determine whether your principal and what your principal and interest payment will be. So, what did the rates do yesterday? That's about as much as we can get, as most accurate as we can get is just telling you what did they do yesterday. So, if we look at them, conventional 30-year fixed. That one was flat, 6.615. Jumbo 30-year fix. That was down 6.638. The FHA 30-year fixed, 6.415. That was up. We're looking at the VA 30-year fix, 6.194. That was up. And the USDA 30-year fix, 6.444. That one was up. Now, you know, they change every day. Those are yesterday's numbers. Again, we don't tell you the APR because we're just reporting data that comes from all the different sources we're watching. So what's happening with the rates today? What's happening with the markets today? Well, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 146 points. The NASDAQ is up 203. The S&P 500 is up 47.82. Oil's down 43 cents a barrel. We've got the 10-year Treasury. It's up just under 2 basis points. That's 0.02%, 4.234. Technical numbers, that's not a good sign. But we don't have to worry about technical numbers. I do that for you. 30-year mortgage bond, that one is flat today. So remember, when the bond goes up, rates go down, bond goes down, rates go up. It's flat, nothing's happening. And we won't see anything. There's no news really coming out today. We've got that 10-year Treasury coming out. And there's a couple of things tomorrow. We've got the jobless claims coming out tomorrow. We'll see if that matters at all. So what is it that's driving the markets? Again, not a whole heck of a lot, but let's see where we are on. Is there anything going on that's driving markets? You know, we're looking at some of the Fed speakers. So, you know, we had the Fed meeting last week, and Jerome Powell on Wednesday came out and said that we've got a good economy. And Friday we found out the Bureau of Labor Statistics said, Jerome, you're missing it.
Such an idiot. Such an
Yeah, the
idiot.
Bureau of Labor Statistics, if you believe their data, which is hard to believe sometimes, but if you believe their data, they came out and said that, you know, we didn't have a good jobs number. So that wasn't surprising. And they also gave us the numbers that they told us the revisions for the prior 2 months. And that's what really shocked the market, was those revisions for the prior 2 months. So the actual data came in at 73,000 jobs created, but the estimate was for like 140 some thousand. The previous numbers, they were revised down by 74,000 just for the previous month. And the month before that was revised down. And I submit those numbers are going to be revised down again next month. So that 73,000 number that they said was true, I don't believe that that's going to be showing as accurate again. So we'll be watching that for you. Mary Daly, San Francisco Fed president, spoke yesterday. She's not a voting member. She said that she would cut by 2 to 3 times this year. Generally, when they say cut, they're talking about 0.25%. So she's saying that she would cut by 2 to 3 times this year and that the wait for her is over. Neil Kashkari, Minneapolis Fed president, spoke on CNBC today and said that the signs he is seeing in the labor market and economy are pointing to a slowdown. He does not have confidence in the effect of the tariffs, but he is concluding that we may not know the impact of the tariffs for a long time. So therefore, he is more reliant on what he has at hand and thinks that soon is appropriate to cut rates. Fed Chair Jerome Powell will be going to the annual Jackson Hole meeting from August 21st to the 23rd. And speaking on the 23rd, this meeting has been used in the past to telegraph Fed actions, especially when it's a change of their recent stance. We'll look for clues on the probability of a September cut, but the market is pricing one in as a lock. So they're saying, I think when I looked, it was like a 80 or 90% chance of a cut. Great news on the horizon, I believe. So there's something called trigger leads. And we've talked about trigger leads in the past. And Josh, I'm going to give you some things to post here that I didn't think about before, which Josh is used to trying to keep up with me here because I give him stuff on the fly. So trigger leads, what are they? Trigger leads are when you go and apply for anything, especially when the mortgage world, the credit bureaus sell your data to people who want to buy it. They sell that because that's how they make money. Well, the Senate voted unanimously to avoid trigger leads, for a bill banning trigger leads. Under this new law, credit reporting agencies cannot give a trigger lead to a third party unless the consumer has opted in to receive solicitations or third party has pre-existing relationship with the consumer. What qualifies as an existing relationship is that the company did their original mortgage, is servicing the current residential mortgage, or if the company is an insured depository institution or credit union that holds a deposit account for you, the consumer. Now, do you want it? Now, once the president signs this, then it's going to be 6 months. They have to stop selling these leads. What I recommend you do today is go to optoutprescreen.com. Optoutprescreen.com. Register there telling the bureaus, hey, I don't want my data being sold. Now, it won't happen for 3, 4, 5 days. It's supposed to happen quicker, but it takes some time. You got to go to optoutprescreen.com, fill out the form, and then the bureaus should stop selling your data right away. Now, you always want to be going to optoutprescreen.com, and the second place to go to is donotcall.gov. Donotcall.gov. So that one's basically saying, take me off put me on the do not call list. Now, if you're like me, you get spam calls all day long. I get so many of them, it drives me nuts. I'm on the donotcall.gov. I've opted out. I've gone to optoutprescreen.com, but they still call. So what do? Take names and numbers. Next time you get one of those calls, number one, never ever say anything when you answer the phone other than hello. My wife constantly would say, just say, it's one of these calls. She doesn't recognize the number. So she says, yes, or yeah. Well, now they've recorded your voice saying that so they can use it to scam you further. We don't want that. So don't do it. Optoutprescreen.com and donotcall.gov. 2 sources for you to go to stop this whole madness. And again, once signed by the president, the new law will go into effect 6 months later. And we're going to continue talking about this. We also got yesterday, ISM, the services index fell to 50.1 from 50.8, which was beneath estimates of 51.5. We know that manufacturing has been weak, but services are showing cracks now too. The labor market component showed the most weakness, falling from 47.2 to 46.4, remaining beneath 50 and in contraction for 4 out of the last 5 months. Prices paid, however, which is an inflation read, rose to 69.9 from 67.5, and that is the highest since October of 2022. So you've got all these different signs saying that the economy is slowing. But unfortunately, Jerome doesn't see the signs.
Such an idiot.
If he had, he would have lowered interest rates or he would have guided the Fed. That's not all Jerome Powell. But I do believe, just my opinion, well, let me tell you, the Mortgage Minute's brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So my opinion, and I can't say I blame him. My opinion is that Jerome Powell was a bit punitive with the president. The president is making fun of him, calling him names, and Powell saying, why would I ever want to do anything that is what you want? Why would I want to help you in any way? Just, again, that's my opinion. I have no foundation for it, but I can't say I blame him if he did it that way. Would you want to help somebody that treats you the way the president has treated Jerome Powell? I can't imagine it, but that's it is what it is, and I'm just throw that out there for you.
It is what it is.
So maybe the Fed will finally start cutting. I don't anticipate them doing a preterm cut. They have the ability, the committee, to get on. They might use Zoom. I mean, we just heard the Bureau of Labor Statistics uses faxes yesterday. So they might use Zoom, but that might be that they want to get on a call and cut intermeeting, but they generally don't do that. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, a second home might be the missing piece in your retirement plan. Why 13% of Americans are about to get their paychecks stolen. And how I saved a client $134,000 with one phone call. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel's the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's...
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today. Being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. A second home might be the missing piece in your retirement plan. Are you wondering if you're on track to retire someday? According to Intuit, 69% of people say today's financial environment makes it tough to plan for the future, and 68% aren't sure they'll ever be able to retire. That's why many people are exploring new ways to build stability and long-term income. And that's where real estate comes in. Why real estate? Here's what it can do for you. If you're able to make the numbers work, buying a second home can be a powerful tool for your future retirement. It could help you build wealth over time. As home prices rise through the years, your second home could grow in value and increase your net worth. Generate extra income. Renting the home could bring in some extra income you can add to your existing retirement savings. Just remember, some of the rent coming in will need to be used to pay that mortgage and maintain that house. Profit in the future. You may decide to sell the second home down the road and use the profit from that sale to give your retirement funds a boost. Diversify your financial assets. Real estate offers a tangible asset that can help reduce your dependence on just stocks or savings, making your overall financial picture more stable. Most second homeowners aren't big investors. And if you're thinking, wait, owning multiple homes is only for big investors, data shows that's not necessarily true. Many homeowners who buy an additional property aren't the big investors you hear so much about. They're people like your neighbors. In fact, data from Batch Data and CJ Patrick Company shows 85% of people who own more than one property have just 1 to 5 homes. 85% of multiple property owners have just 1 to 5 homes. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials or the ABC News and Talk, AM 1490 and FM 98.1 video feeds, you are seeing this chart of 85% of multiple home property owners have just 1 to 5 homes. That means most who own multiple homes are people, not large investors, who've bought an extra home to rent out or hold on to for later. Why now might be the right time? And right now, the door may be opening for buyers like you, according to Danielle Hale, chief economist at Realtor.com. The balance of power in the housing market keeps shifting in favor of home buyers. A confluence of factors, including homes for sale, rising price cuts, and slower moving inventory, is giving buyers more leverage than they've had in years, unquote. If you live in an area where home prices are expected to rise, buying another property now and selling it later could help fund your future. Or you could rent it out and earn income now. Start with just a few trusted pros. If this idea sounds interesting, the most important first step is to connect with a few key people who can guide you through the process. A local real estate agent who understands the market, a lender who specializes in second home or investment homes. Surrounding yourself with the right pros can help you make confident decisions from day one. Bottom line, let's talk about what's possible and explore whether owning a second home could bring you more security and peace of mind for the road ahead. If a second home could help you retire earlier with more freedom, would you want to take a closer look? What if the government paid for it for you? Would you want to take a look then? That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Hey, don't forget our conversation last week when we had Rondi Lambeth on the program, and he talked about the idea that short-term rental, if you have that, the new big, beautiful bill allows you to take a big tax deduction. So if you didn't catch that broadcast, you missed it. Let's do a Borrow Smart segment today, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. Student loan crisis, that's a biggie. Why 13% of Americans are about to get their paycheck stolen and how to stop it from happening to you. What if I told you that 13% of student home loan borrowers are now delinquent on their payments? And this number just hit a 20-year high. That's 1 in 8 people struggling with student debt right now. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping people build wealth through strategic debt management. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York just released some eye-opening data. Student loan delinquencies exploded from 8% to nearly 13% in just 3 months. That's the highest level we've seen in over 2 decades. We're talking about people who are more than 90 days behind on payments. Here's what's really happening. When the Trump administration restarted collections on defaulted student loans in May, ending that 5-year pandemic pause, millions of borrowers suddenly found themselves facing reality again. The total is staggering $1.64 trillion in student loan debt. TransUnion reported that 2 million borrowers were at risk of wage garnishment this summer alone. Think about that for a moment. 2 million people potentially having money taken directly from their paychecks. But here's where it gets interesting from a strategic debt management perspective. While everyone's focused on student loan rates and payment amounts, they're missing the bigger picture. What really matters is your household blended interest rate and how all your debts work together. Let me share a story with you. Client, we'll call her Sarah, came to us drowning in student loan payments and credit card debt, but she was absolutely fixated on her 4% mortgage rate. Ron, I can't touch my mortgage. She said, I'm saving this amazing 4% rate, and rates are so much higher now. But here's what Sarah was missing. Yes, she had a great 4% mortgage rate, but she also had $35,000 in credit card debt at 22.84% and was 3 months behind on her $800 monthly student loan payments. She was focused on protecting that low mortgage rate that she couldn't see the forest for the trees. Here's the reality check. Sarah was paying $800 minimum credit card payments alone, plus late fees and penalties on her student loans. Her household was bleeding cash every month. Here's what we did. We repositioned equity from her home to pay off that crushing credit card debt that averaged 23% and used additional cash to bring her student loans current. Yes, her mortgage went up about $400 because she gave up that 4% rate, but she eliminated $800 in credit card payments and stopped those late fees. That's $400 per month back in her pocket, plus she could sleep at night again. Strategy beats rate always. So what does this mean for you if you're struggling with student loans or any combination of debts? Stop looking at each loan in isolation. The real question is, what's my student loan rate? The real question is not, what's my student loan rate? The real question is, what's the total cash flow impact on my household budget? I have a blended rate calculator. You just need to go to rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora, and we'll figure things out for you. Here's what most people don't understand. When you're dealing with multiple debts, the individual rates matter less than how they all work together. Safety, liquidity, and return. That's how we evaluate every strategy. The current student loan crisis isn't just about high balances or interest rates. It's about cash flow. When you can't make your payments, it doesn't matter if you have a great rate on paper. Here's a real strategy that works. I recently worked with a family drowning in payments. They had $60,000 in student loans at 6%. But here's the kicker. They also had $40,000 in credit card debt and an average rate of, the average is 22.84. That credit card debt was killing their cash flow. Now, you generally don't want to consolidate student loan debt into a mortgage. Those federal protections and forgiveness programs are too valuable to give up. But that credit card debt, that's a different story. We repositioned equity from their home to pay off that high interest credit card debt and used some additional cash to bring their student loans current. Their mortgage payment went up about $300, but they eliminated $1,200 in credit card payments. That's $900 a month back in their pocket. The average household carries about $40,000 in credit card debt, again at 22.84%. Think about that for a moment. If you have a mortgage rate around 7% and you're carrying credit card debt at nearly 23%, which debt should you tackle first? The key is looking at suitability, not just eligibility. Most lenders will tell you what you qualify for, but they won't tell you what makes strategic sense for your household. If you're one of the millions dealing with student loan stress, or if you know someone who is, remember this: there are always options when you look at the complete picture. Bottom line, for a free discovery call to discover your specific situation, visit bookrsr15.com, bookrsr15.com. And for more strategies and resources, check out ronsiegelradio.com. Remember, when it comes to debt management, strategy beats rate always. That's the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, how I saved a client $134,000 with one phone call, and it could happen to you. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Again, or Facebook.com, Ron Siegel Radio at Facebook.com. YouTube, Ron Siegel 1, then Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference in the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We got a workshop for you today. Let's see. Let's do it by Borrow Smart, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. How I saved a client $134,000 with one phone call, and we can save it for you too. It's the second look advantage that we're talking about here. What if I told you that an extra $18,750 up front could save you nearly $400 every month for the next 30 years? That's exactly what happened when we took our second look at a client's FHA loan yesterday. I'm Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping people build wealth through strategic debt management. Yesterday, a family came to us with what seemed like a solid FHA loan offer on a $1.25 million home. The lender had them set up with 3.5% down at 6.25% interest. The numbers looked reasonable on the surface, about $8,000 per month, including mortgage insurance. But here's where the second look advantage made all the difference. We discovered that by putting 1.5% more down, going from 3.5% to 5%, they could qualify for a better rate structure entirely. The numbers, let me break this down. The original offer required $43,750 down with a total monthly payment of about $7,980. Our second look found them 5% down option at 5.99% interest. Yes, they needed $62,500 down instead. That's $18,750 more up front, but their monthly payment dropped to $7,607. The impact, that's $373 less every month. Plus you save every month. That's $373,000 less every month. Plus you save roughly $373,000 monthly and reduce the overall financed amount by $18,750 by increasing your down payment to 5% and getting a lower rate. Over 30 years, we're talking about $134,000 in savings when you calculate the return on that extra $18,750 investment. It pays for itself in just 4 years. The bigger picture, this is why strategy beats rate always. It wasn't just about finding a lower interest rate. It was about understanding how the entire loan structure works together. The mortgage insurance premium dropped from 0.55% to 0.5% annually because of the higher down payment. That small change created massive long-term value. Our second look advantage goes beyond what most lenders offer. We don't just check if they're getting decent terms. We ensure the structure aligns with their financial goals. We analyze how well the financing supports both immediate needs and future objectives, and we identify potential closing risks before they become problems. What sets us apart? Most lenders focus on getting you qualified. We focus on getting you the best that can be done, not just what's being offered. We go beyond the current offer to explore all possible options, ensuring you receive truly optimal financing. Here's what really matters. If you can't improve on what you've already been offered, this month we're going to offer a $100 Amazon gift card just for letting us take a look. We're that confident in our ability to find better solutions. If you have a loan in process and you're deciding about refinancing or the financing structure, don't settle for the first offer you receive. Visit RonSiegelRadio.com to learn more about our second look advantage, or go to rsrlinks.com/second look. rsrlinks.com/second look. Give us a call. Remember, strategy beats rate always. Strategy beats rate always. That is our workshop, Borrow Smart, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. Hey, that second look advantage, it's big because there are so many places, especially the online services. They expect that you're going to know how to be a mortgage professional, how to be a certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. That's what we do. So the bottom line is if you go in and put in, I want a 30-year loan, they're going to find a 30-year loan for you through the algorithms. They may not know, Mrs. Smith, you've got that $18,750. So why don't we apply that or put that into the loan and save $400 a month? It's a 4-year break even. Now, you may or may not decide you want that, but I think it's a good idea for you. Just throw that out there. Hey, and let's take a look at how you can bring the credit score up for FICO scoring purposes. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.